After the Leafs get that ugly bounce there against Chicago and win that game, but overall, since Mitch Marner going down, haven't played the greatest hockey. Well, today, it kind of continues. They don't play the greatest game, but you're in Edmonton and they win 5-1 over the Oilers and improve to 28-2 on the year. The Buds have now won back-to-back games. You got some depth goal scoring today. But the common theme this year, except for the last little bit, he's been struggling a bit lately. But what a game for Jack Campbell, baby. You did your job, baby. He was fantastic tonight for the Toronto Maple Leafs in Edmonton. And you get the early saves. Obviously, it was kind of shaky there. The Leafs were in the latter half of the first period and really majority of the second period, yet they outscored them 3-0. Like, that makes sense. But let's break this game down. You know, first period, Leafs get a power play and kind of a little bit of a broken play in front of the net. And John Tavares, kind of as he's falling down, just sets it on a platter for Austin Matthews, and he buries it past Mikko Koskinen. And the Leafs have a 1-0 lead, 19:25 in 35 seconds left in the first period. Kasha and JT grab assists in the goal, and the Buds are up 1-1. Shots on goal are 12-12 in favor of Edmonton. However, it kind of felt like they had the more pressure, or at least they did later on in the period. Now, we move ahead to the second period, and 8:47, and meanwhile, the Leafs are not playing very well, right? They're not playing well. They have a lot of zone time going on as Edmonton. Jack Campbell's had to make some huge saves. And just under 10 minutes in, right? It was 8:47 into the second period. The Leafs on the rush. A nice feed from Kyle Clifford. You know, I mean, I didn't expect that type of pass from him. A hard tape to Morgan Riley coming down the center of the ice. And he gets the backhand feed, or I don't know, it's 400 backhand feed. Either way, in front of the net to Wade Simmons. And it's kind of a scramble in front. It goes off the skate of the defender. And Simmons grabs the puck and goes around the goalie Koskinen. And he buries it. And he's sitting on his rear, hands up in the air. Wayne Train's got a goal. And the Leafs have a 2-0 lead. Clifford and Riley have assists in the goal. And the boys are up 2-0. They're not playing the greatest. Very interesting. Now, under 6 minutes to play in the second period, TJ Brody, I mean, he steps into this one from the blue line. He wires it on. It's more or less along the ice, either going for the low shot rebound or going for the tip in front. Well, it definitely got tipped in front. The problem was, for the Oilers at least, it was Connor McDavid who tipped the puck in, and he's like, Connor, that's not who you want to score on, pal, but we'll take it. As he tips it over the glove of Koskinen and into the back of the net, Brody's got his first goal of the year. Timothy Liljegren and David Kampf have assists in the goal at 14:54 of the second period. The Leafs get a 3-0 lead. Shots on goal in the period, 15-7. They over doubled the Leafs shots in that second period to the Edmonton Oilers. And yet they allowed both goals in the period. You know, I've said in the past, and I said it last year, and I will continue to say it about the Edmonton Oilers. They may have Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. When those guys do not score, how good is that team? Well, they're not. And how's their goaltender? It's not good. Mike Smith's hurt. Do you ever expect him to stay healthy for a long period of time? And oh yeah, by the way, he's almost 40. And Mikko Koskinen, when they gave him that massive deal, I mean, he's never proved to be a number one goalie. So it makes they're 16-11. They've lost 6 in a row. They're having what is it, 5-game homestand, 6-game homestand? They've lost 4 in a row to start. That's terrible. And if I'm a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, I'm watching this and I'm like, man, I am so glad that is not my team. We go into the third period, and Gold Sevier scores his first goal of the season for the Edmonton Oilers, 5:26 in, to make it a 3-1 game. And I know every Leafs fan, I know I just yapped the Oilers, but I know every Leafs fan was like, after that 3-1 goal, thinking, oh God, no, not again. A lot like we saw in Chicago, right? Because what we saw in Chicago was that early third period goal that put every Leaf fan on edge. Well, they got that goal in the first, 5:26 in, and there's still lots of hockey to play, and it's a 2-goal game. It's far from over, but just over a minute after that goal, William Nylander enters the zone. Very, very, very soft defense from the Edmonton Oilers. Connor McDavid's behind Riley. He's just coming to give him a little wacky-do. There's just nothing doing there. And Nylander goes around the back of the net, and he centers it. It might have been for John Tavares in front, but it goes past him. Morgan Riley's there walking into it, gets the puck and wrists it on. And it just beats Koskinen and Flush. And the Leafs get that one goal right back. It's now a 3-goal lead again, 4-1. Every Leaf fan's like, okay, we good. We're all right. William Nylander, the lone assist on that goal at 6:33 of the third period. And then we move ahead under 4 minutes to play. Can we talk about Ondrej Kase? And this guy has a 5-game point streak going. And on this 5th goal from the Toronto Maple Leafs, keeps the puck in with his chest. They try and clear it out. He's like knocking that thing down. Stays in the zone. And ends up getting to Austin Matthews. And oh my God, the wrist shot from Austin. From what? Top of the slot? Top of the circles, but in the middle? Like, you guys can kind of get that idea. And he just wrist shot. No screen in front, just beats Koskinen glove side. And the Leafs got a 5-1 lead. 16:43 into the period. Kasha with the lone assist. And as I mentioned earlier, Koskinen's not a great goaltender. 2 of those goals, right, well, yeah, you can't blame him for the Brody goal. 2 of those goals, the ones late, were just beat him flush. Just wrist shots from, no screen in front, no tip in front. Just beat them. And the Leafs, like I said, didn't play the greatest game. Shots on goal in the third period, 9-6 in favor of the Edmonton Oilers. But we scored 2 goals on 6 shots in that period. Leaf fans, listen to this. We scored 2 goals on 6 shots in the third period. We scored 2 goals on 7 shots in the second. And so you basically scored a total of 4 goals on 13 shots in the final 2 frames. Not the greatest effort from the Leafs. But they made their opportunities count, and they defended well enough. That's where I'm going to put it. They weren't great defensively, but they defended well enough to come away with this victory. The Leafs on the power play, unfortunately, don't have the multi-goal streak on the power play. That is over now. Would have set a franchise record, but you still score 1 for 3 on the power play. It was the first one of the game from Austin Matthews. Edmonton has 2 power plays. Don't get anything going. They were 0 for 2 on their power play. The Leafs penalty kill did their job. Special teams, Leafs win that category too. Jack Campbell in the game. Oh, baby, a goal on 36 shots for Jack. Great job, Jacko. And he was phenomenal. I mean, look, we had that streak going for a little while where Jack Campbell, allowing 4 goals, not looking too hot over the last few games. Much better tonight. You're not going to be perfect every game. You're not going to have a perfect stretch the entire season. No goalie does that, right? Every goalie's going to have that stretch of 2, 3, 4 games where they just don't really have it. And it's the great goalies in the league that find it again. Jack we all know he was unbelievable for the first month and a half, 2 months of the season. And they had that little stretch, very little stretch, like 2 or 3 games of not great. But tonight, he found it again. Goal 36 for Jack. Austin Matthews led the way with 2 goals. Riley the goal and assist. And Ondrej Kase with 2 apples in the game. And look, without Mitch Marner in the lineup, Ondrej Kase has filled in nicely. And all Oiler fans are going to lose their mind. Right? Well, we didn't have Zach Hyman. We didn't have Mitch Marner. I would say those 2 cancel each other out. So there's really no excuse in this game. The Leafs just went in there. And yeah, they outchanced us. But as we've all learned, and I'll say it again, that the shots on goal stat are quite meaningless. It's what goes in the back of the net. And the Leafs buried 5. The Oilers buried 1. And Leaf fans, what the crazy thing is? The Leafs are 8-1? Something like that in their time at Rogers Place, something like that. And the goal differential's wild. I think it's something like 18-2. Or I heard the stat in the radio, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was like 18-2 in goals in their last little bit against the Oilers or in Edmonton or something like that. And I'm like, man, that is absolute dominance. Pretty wild stuff. Now, Leaf fans, we got to move on to the next one because, it is what it is. You got your 2 points on the road without Mitch Marner and all those guys. As I mentioned, another game without Jason Spezza, that he will be back eventually, and another W. So we'll take that any day of the week. Now, you were supposed to play Thursday against Calgary Flames in Calgary. Well, that is now not happening because of the COVID situation they are dealing with. So the next game for the Toronto Maple Leafs is on Saturday in Vancouver. It is a 7 p.m. puck drop. Vancouver Canucks fans crying and all that stuff. Oh, it's 7 o'clock. We have to get to the game early. This and that's not prime time for us. And it's like, no one cares. Because clearly they continue to do it. It means ratings are better, this and this. They probably attempt to do these later ones. And they're like, yeah, we don't get it. 7 o'clock puck drop there in Vancouver on Saturday night, where that team is playing right now. They're mad about everything in Vancouver. Actually, they've been playing well with Bruce Boudreau. I got to give them that. But that is going to do it for this, Leaf fans. If you enjoyed the video and you enjoyed the game this evening, if you stayed up for it, smack the like button. Do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button. If you have not done so already, guys, the Twitter link is down below, so follow up there. Send me a DM. Do all that great stuff. The Instagram link is down below, so follow up there. Send me a DM. Do all that great stuff. Follow up. All that great nonsense on Instagram. Do all that stuff on there. And I will talk to you guys. Raptors edition is supposed to be Thursday as well. But no, Saturday. They host the Golden State Warriors, Steph Curry in town, 7:30 tip-off there. And that's for the Toronto Maple Leafs. They're in Vancouver on Saturday. It was supposed to be Thursday as well. 7 o'clock puck drop there as the Buds look to continue to go on their roll, look for win number 3 in a row. And they look to beat the West Coast Vancouver Canucks, who are playing some pretty good hockey right now under Bruce Boudreau. But we'll have to see how that plays out on Saturday and get some much-needed time off to the Toronto Maple Leafs, all right? So thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video in the game tonight. We'll talk to you guys then.